This is the smallest family I recorded so far, handheld. Motion speed reduced by half and stabilized in DaVinci. Not perfect, but handheld. Salut, I'm Peach. I bought a new camera and a new macro lens. The camera is the Sony A6700. It's a mirrorless cropped sensor camera released in 2023, and the lens is a Sony FE 90mm f2.8 macro G OSS released in 2015, and this is mine.
My precious.
Nobody sent it to me for a couple of days to try it. I am not paid by anyone to talk about it, and I don't have any sponsor.
Like, subscribe.
I have a Fujifilm X-T5 already for macro photography. I have a Canon R7 for wildlife photography and videography. So why did I buy this one?
You're crazy.
So the main reason is that I didn't really have something super reliable for macro videography. So I started to look for a camera with those different options. I needed insect tracking, and this one has it. My Canon R7 don't. My Fujifilm has it as well, but I cannot really trust the autofocus, and I don't really like sometimes the render of the video with my Fujifilm X-T5. I needed good image stabilization. This one has it, both in camera and with the lens, and they work well together. I needed the best autofocus in the market, and Sony is one of the best, is probably the best. I needed good video quality, 4K, good slow motion, and with a lot of frame per second and that kind of stuff. I needed something as small and lightweight as possible. I really like the grip and the overall shape of it and how you can handle it. And I needed something not too much expensive. That Sony 6700 has 4K 120p. I think is the cheapest camera in the market that has it. Let me know in the comment section below if you know better, I mean cheaper. And it comes with a crop factor of 1.5 or 1.6, I'm not sure, maybe 1.5. And this is actually the big highlight of this camera, the 4K 120p. But that's the only option that we will not try, because my DaVinci Resolve, my software for editing, can handle only until 60 frames per second. Because it's the free version of DaVinci Resolve. I don't have the pro version yet, maybe at Christmas. So for now I will certainly use the 4K 60 frames per second. The 4K will allow me to crop a little bit if needed, and the 60 frame will allow me to slow a bit the motion to get a footage a bit smoother, you know. That will reduce the shakiness a little bit. This camera can also slow the motion up to 10 times in full HD, and but only internally, and it can also slow the motion up to 5 times in 4K. So wow, there is some interesting bird noises right there. Never heard that before. Anyway, so I have to turn the page. Another highlight of this camera, it has S-Log 3, and I did try it at the beginning. I grade some footage with insects, but I don't really need it for macro actually. Maybe if you have some footage with bright sky and some dark forest, that's where you want it, but for now I'm just using a picture profile, I think the PPL4 or something like that, and I'm very happy with that. Great colors. So what we will do now, I will find some insect and try different settings. So let's do it.
Stay with me.
This is me running at 240 frames per second, rendered internally at 24 frames per second. Exactly the kind of scene where you want to use S-Log 3 so you can adjust the highlight and the shadows in post. 10 times slow motion is cool. It is done in SNQ mode. The sad news is that you have no control over your shutter speed and aperture, so the 4K 120p in SNQ is useless for macro, but to be clear, the 4K 120p in video mode is totally usable for macro. I just need the Pro version of DaVinci Resolve to make it work. Here you have an example of the Sony Insect autofocus tracking. I doubt that the R7 could have done that well. And it would have been a big mess manually focusing with my X-T5. That ladybug is such a good acrobat. Another great feature of the A6700 is the AF on button. When you push it, it will track whatever was on the little tracking square in your frame. It's like telling your camera, that's it, do not hunt. This is what I want in focus. Few words about the lens. It has a convenient manual focus to autofocus clutch at the front. Here a button that will by default freeze the autofocus where it is. A focus limiter for macro or from half meter to infinity or full range, and a stabilizer on and off. It's not fair because it was always a bit windy while making the video, but I will say that for close-up the stability is good enough. And for real macro it's fine for documentary purpose, I guess. But if you want better, you have to find something solid to lean on. This is a shot handheld with steady shot active near 1:1 ratio. You don't want to go too close to 1:1, by the way. More on this later. Here, same but with the standard mode of stabilization. And here with the Renox DCR 250, things start to be too much shaky. So here for the example, I reduced the speed by half and you can maybe see a bit of rolling shutter, but I think it's a bit better overall. It could have helped if the animal was doing something interesting. I learned that there is two things you don't really want to do. One, to hold the branch, like here. It's a good idea for photography with a flash because that way you can manage the focusing distance, but it's not good for video. The second tip is don't shoot at minimum focus distance because, as you see here, in a few seconds, when the grasshopper jumps to his left, the head is not in focus anymore. It entered the zone beyond the minimum focus distance, you see. So it's something to keep in mind. Beautiful shot, by the way, with that morning light. No need to edit anything here. This is at 1:1 handheld, but my hand is on that kind of table made in concrete. Now it's making some exercise before the jump. For this one we are in standard stabilization mode and the tip of the lens is touching one of the stone. A bit closer here. I shot mostly everything around f14. This one is at 60 frames per second at normal speed. The shutter speed is 1/125. Something cool that I do now and that I did with that little nymph. Since I don't have to focus manually anymore, I can use my free hand to illuminate my subject with my small rig light source. and that is really cool. I did it here with that little melon fly. It makes everything better, more colors, contrast, details, and less noise. During my test I found a masked bee, or yellow-faced bee. It was drowning in the swimming pool. This is not a dolphin, so this video will not go viral. So please, at least like the video, that will help a bit with the YouTube algorithm. I used also a lot that little Renox DCR 250, and with it we have an excellent magnification of about 2:1, and I am super happy with that. Here you can appreciate the size of that creature beside my little finger. We are at 4K 24 frames per second, normal speed, standard stabilization, amazing focusing job by my A6700. I think I could have gone closer. This plant hopper is extra small as well, but it filled the frame a lot more. One last word about overheating. Yes, in 4K 60 or 120p, it will overheat quickly, but in my case I am filming 20 seconds here and there, so during the last 5 days it happened only one time that my Sony actually shut down, and I had a warning maybe 3 times. If it happened, I would just grab my Fuji and take some photos. So it's not a problem at all for me. Actually, I usually overheat before the camera. I like very much my new combo. It is not perfect. Like all those cheaper cropped sensors of the world, it suffers rolling shutter and it overheats after 10 minutes at 4K 60p. But overall, this is a good hybrid camera. And what about the 90mm macro lens? It's already a legend. Some say the sharpest lens ever made, some say the best lens for portrait with superb bokeh. Some even say that this is too sharp for wedding. But is it still good nowadays? I will check all that and maybe do a review soon. And I see you on the next one. Cheers!